Hello guys, welcome to Circuit de Catalunya with myself in pole position. We've got James in second, Spaniard in third, Jake in fourth, Joe in fifth, and a couple behind. And we are good to go. And an absolutely amazing start there from the Ferrari, driven by Jake, who's coming straight down behind myself now. I'm going to dive down the inside. Everyone's going to pretty much try and settle in on this race. The ghosting's set to high on this, which we do need to lower for future races. So you might see a bit of ghosting going on. Every single one of us is going to be using it to our advantage as well. So, long right hander now. Everyone seems to be settling in nicely. No off tracks yet. Commentator's curse. So we've got James sitting there in third. Everyone's finding the lines. It's finding the quickest routes now. And that Ferrari is just absolutely flying off. Going to try and keep the pressure on myself before I swim into a mistake in my Audi R8. But what's going to happen is I'm going to completely understeer into the grass and onto the sand. So while I'm building sandcastles, everyone else is going to fly ahead. James is going to fall into second place and put the pressure on Jake now. Coming down, well, the Formula 1 DRS straight. And James is just looking on the inside in his Lexus. He's going to hold for now and wait for the right opportunity to attack. We've got a little bit of a off behind us going on there. And Joe's just sitting behind the Spaniard and the German, just biding his time. Maybe looking for a good exit to just stick with them for this home straight coming up. Round the chicane now. Looking very ghosty indeed. And James has managed to take the lead from Jake. Jake's going to get right behind him in the slipstream now. See what he can do from this. James has gone on the inside to defend. Jake on the outside. Oh, a bit of a wobble and a bash there from each other. And James is going to hold the lead as they mount each other. So, still everything to play for everyone involved in this race right now. Even first place making a mistake could lead 7th straight up into a good position. Joe putting the pressure on the Volkswagen, coming out a bit wide, but probably going to get a better exit now to put the pressure on and maybe dive down on the outside. Has he got through? He has got through, so there's an overtake. And the Volkswagen pushing a little bit too hard, maybe thanking the Ghost Gods for that one. So 7th has fallen quite far back, but we're going to stick with Joe. Up the S. A little bit deep there, and the Volkswagen has come back to take back the position, but I don't think Joe's going to wait very long to go again. Let's have a look in first place, and it's starting to look a bit reminiscent of the Mercedes hybrid era, and on suspicion James might in fact piss off right now and just leave us all in the dust. Jake's doing quite well to stay with James at the moment, and they are not being bothered by anyone. Whilst the going in very deep there from Jake. As we watch James come round to the pit straight now. And that beastly Lexus down the home straight, having the time of his life. Jake following at speed in behind. He's got some catching up to do. You can see on the track is starting to get a bit of a gap now, and myself going down the inside, or looking down the inside, nothing doing though. This is actually going to become, or is becoming, quite a close race for third position right now. So we get on board with Joe's Porsche, sick guy livery, and fastest section from Joe there. Does have a 1.5 second penalty to scrub off. Now here's Jake going at some major speed, trying to make that time up on James, and he's gone in and understeered off into the gravel trap, making sandcastles, which puts him in 6th, as 7th place has decided to drop out and retire. We've got a wide there from the Volkswagen, which puts Joe through to 2nd place. Everything to play for, everything for second place now. Nice and close. We've got it off there from Joe as well. Gone a little bit deep on the S's. I'm going to try and squeeze through. A little bit of a wobble there for me, which is going to compromise my exit. So Joe's going to take ahead, but the Volkswagen is far behind. Jake just collecting his thoughts at the moment, getting himself back in the race, which will come. Coming up into the final section then. And everything's still to play for second place. Everyone taking their own lines, trying to find out which is best for the exit, who's defending. Got myself now behind Joe. Decided to try and stick with him as long as I could, and if an opportunity did open up, well then I'm going to be lick stamping and sending it. But that Porsche was bloody quick on the straights. I actually thought the R8 would be a lot quicker on the straights. Maybe it was just my racecraft. Had a quick look there just to see what's going on. Going to try and stay behind second there, or third place. And Joe's moved into second, taking over the Renault. And myself ghosting inside the Spaniard. Has managed to get ahead. So that puts me into third place. Joe in second. Going to dive down the inside of Joe. Looking for second place. Trying to keep it clean and tidy though. Didn't want to force any more than I had to. I might have compromised my own exit there. So going to go defensive. Try and again just stay behind Joe as best I can. All while Jake is slowly catching us up. Everyone's trying to get as fast as they can, but while we're racing as well, it does slow your laps down. So James, sorry, is just having the time of his life up front. Nothing really doing. Could you see him at the bottom there? One of my favourite parts of the track. Braking hairpin. Looking at the inside of Joe there. Didn't want to be too aggressive. I wasn't too bothered about the two Spaniards. Nothing against them, but you don't want to knock your own mates off a race. Which also helps me anyway. It's one thing I need to get better at is racing. I'm okay with qualifiers, getting a fast lap in or a good lap in. But racecraft and race pace needs quite a bit of work. However, feeling good. Podium position at the moment. And as you can see, Jake now getting right at the back end of the other two cars. And James nowhere to be seen. We'll have a quick look, see how James is going on in a bit. On the inside there goes Joe. And a switchback coming from myself to try and go down the inside. Looking for it. Who's going to stick on the inside, take the position there. Joe's going to be coming straight back, I imagine. Or maybe at a safer point. However, the German behind is not going to wait for a better time. Bit of a nudge there from Joe. I don't think either of us sort of expected us that we were that close, and half expected a ghost as well, so I'll let it go. Jake once again just coming right up behind now as we're all racing, and the Renault's managed to get ahead. As you can see, a bit of bumping between myself and him, and now we're 3 wide down the straight as that Volkswagen comes in ridiculously fast. I'm going to look for a wide cut in, just go for a better exit, maybe a bit too much on the grass there. See Joe pushing forward. Now Jake is right behind the pack and back in the pack, and the fight for second is very, very much on, still with 5 laps to go. Just looking for an attacking move there, maybe down the inside. Nothing doing this time for myself, and a bit of a wobble there, which in turn has slowed Jake down a bit. I'm not going to lie, I looked back and felt a bit bad about that. He started to catch up and then I'm forcing him backwards. So lap 6, James in front, the Volkswagen sitting in second with Joe hot on his tails, followed by the Renault, followed by myself, followed by Jake, who's just been compromised by me. However, the amount of racing, everyone keeps seeming to straight back up. If we're dropping back, we're straight back into the race again. And I'm surprised, 6 laps in, I suppose you could put it down to the ghosting, but no real major incidents between anyone. No one's really lagging far behind. All still really close, bar James up in front, who is generally very fast anyway, but also hasn't been challenged except for the first lap. So while we all race, James runs on ahead. But as you can see, look at this, all for second place, every single one of us. And another just understeered and underbrake there and ended up in the pit for Jake. But everyone's getting quite desperate for the second position now, which is slowing us down on the lap times, which in turn helps Jake get a bit closer as Joe goes in deep. Holds the position. Coming around the corners now. Renault's looking to get right down the inside there. I've done it instead. Had a bit of a wobble and still fighting there. I'm going to try and maybe dive down the inside myself. There we go on the Renault, so it puts me up into fourth. Joe takes the, well, what is first position to us. Here we can see, but absolutely crazy how close this is now. Considering we're 7 laps in, and you know this isn't an everyday occurrence for us racing, so we're all doing pretty well to keep it as clean as we can. Actually taking a different line myself here, as you can see, coming out wider and then coming in, and that wasn't to try and get a switch back in. I was just doing that every lap, and it just seems to really get so much more pace out of the car on the exits, as you can see here. The Renault's making me nervous. I don't know what he was using, but he was very wobbly. Now fighting with the Volkswagen. Looking around the outside, it's not going to happen, so I'm going to tuck in as he goes wide, and the Renault goes looking down the inside. So he's going to go for that there, which is going to slow his exit down, but he's also going to knock straight back into Joe. Joe's looking down the inside there. Renault getting very aggressive again, taking full advantage of that ghost. So here we are again, positions all swapping around. While this racing goes down, Jake slowly catching up again. Round this third sector, and looking very close still. There's me and Joe come down the chicanes, looking to get a good exit onto that Renault. Turned in a little early myself there, but don't seem to have compromised my exit too much. And this is going to be a very fast sprint down to the bottom. Just having a quick look on the outside of Joe, and then going to look on the outside again. As Joe goes right down the inside. Luckily we've got a ghost. The door was shut very late there from the Renault, to be fair, so the move was definitely doable. And just coming up behind now, the Volkswagen seems to have dropped off a little bit. Let's have a look with James. Lap 8 of 10. Taking his and not taking his time at all, but having a really good race. Just keeping everything smooth. James is just good racecraft. It's fast and consistent, and that's the position it will get you if you can do it well. In his Lexus over the livery, posting best sector there for James. He was definitely running the fastest lap, which was his third lap, and he actually managed to get a bit quicker in his practices earlier as well. Managed a 1:44.5, so really quick. Not sure why I'm going off the track there. Let's go back a bit and see what was going on. So it's all getting a bit messy around here, as those two are inside. Now we have 3 cars inside each other. I'm going to follow through Joe, get past the Renault and stay behind Joe now. Which puts me back onto the podium. Both going a bit deep there, very deep. Renault says thank you very much, I'll come back for that. Just held off to let Joe get back in front and take that position back. It was a wide. No penalties though, so it was an acceptable move, which is what we like. Coming into the chicane, which was very... If you got this right, your exit would be all the way down to the bottom, would get you a good 5 attempts. If you really mess that one up, it can really affect you and slow you down, and you really want to be as close as you can to the cars in front to get that toe. So exactly what I'm looking at with Joe now. I'm not going to make a move because of the Renault behind. Again, me and Joe start racing, it's going to slow us down, so looking for a better, cleaner option to try and get by. I'm going for my inside line there, which again gives me a bit more speed on the exit. Not enough to make any sort of challenge. Maybe Joe's gone deep, so I'm going to dive down the inside, keep it nice and clean. The inside move is going to compromise the exit though. Just going to manage to stay ahead, but doing so has enabled the Renault to catch up. I've gone off the track there, nearly building sandcastles, but managed to keep it on side by side with Joe, and in too deep for myself, and really said bye-bye to second position. Back in second, it's going to give these guys a bit of a breathing room to be able to challenge each other for a lap or two, and there's only 1 lap left after this final sector, so I'm going to need them to slow down for me to get any sort of position back. Jake now fighting with a Volkswagen who's dropped off. Looking to just get him out of that back position there. And the 458 Italia, which looks like an absolute beast to control. Quick look back up front, second place, Joe holding the Renault off on the penultimate lap. That German driver in that Renault though was definitely got his elbows out. It's just compromised Joe's exit there, which is going to allow me to catch up behind Joe, which is probably going to lose Joe's second place. He's not going to be best happy about that one. But I'm now looking at a podium. Push on hard onto the back of that Porsche. Come around onto the pit straight now. It's getting intense for the final lap. Have a quick look on the inside, looking to send it, looking for when Joe's going to brake and when I'm going to brake. It looks like Joe's left it later there and managed to stay ahead, so I'm going to go for the wider line, try and tuck in, maybe go for a switchback. Absolutely love how close this race was towards the end for not necessarily second place now, but third place, battling all the way to the finish line, still managing to just hold Joe behind. My earlier braking there slightly catching him out, I think. And Joe's looking on the inside, just going to try and defend him as best I can. Coming round now, let's have a look with James up in first place, who's probably just about to finish this race as he finishes this final sector. Switch it back to us, and you can see me and Joe still very much in the race for third. Try and be as gentlemanly as we can, and there is the dive bomb we was waiting for from Joe, which if he's not going to go for it, he might as well have not turned up. Had to go for it there, nothing doing though, unfortunately. Luckily we had a ghost, and there we are. James taking the win with a 1.5 second time penalty. You probably could have had a 5, 6, 7, 8 second time penalty and still come first place. Second comes a Spaniard in the Renault, which I don't think he really deserved with all the bump he was doing. Third myself, Joe in fourth, and the fight very much alive for 5th and 6th. Unfortunately this time around, Jake is just going to miss out on that position. So here's the race classifications. James absolutely running away with it, and James said himself he's still got a lot of improving to do, which, to be honest, scares the crap out of me. But we all get faster, we'll all get better racecraft. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next race.